reviews the system of transmission of data from polling stations to county tallying officers, or county tallying stations, or even constituency tallying stations, Madam Speaker. This needs to be reviewed. The training of staff at IEBC, and especially those that are employed temporarily. We know of presiding officers, deputy presiding officers, polling clerks, counting clerks. The IEBC needs to do a review of the training and the performance of especially these temporary or these officers that are engaged by the Commission on temporary basis, Madam Speaker. And so that is also something that caught my eye and that made me feel that I should strongly support this bill, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is also a provision that any decision that the review of boundaries has given can be challenged by any individual, that any individual can go to court and challenge the decision on the delimitation of any boundaries, Madam Speaker, which is important because sometimes I could go and give my views as a member of the public, which the Commission may choose to ignore. That I have the option of going to court after this and pursuing my justice, Madam Speaker, at least within 30 days of the publication of such a decision, Madam Speaker, is encouraging because we want every Kenyan to have the right to question any authority in this country, Madam Speaker, and that such dispute, such suit will be sorted in 3 months' time, Madam Speaker, because we have had situations where somebody goes to court. Sometimes it could even be an election petition, Madam Speaker, and we know sometimes, especially previously, we did not have limits on which or within which an election dispute could be sorted out apart from that of the presidency. So that some of these decisions are made too deep into the term of parliament that whatever decision is made, Madam Speaker, does not benefit even the petitioner, Madam Speaker. And I think that is a right that these particular amendments have sought to provide and protect. And I think that is a very important matter, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have heard my colleague, Senator Osotsi, mention about the budget, that PSC should provide the budget for this particular panel, Madam Speaker, and I think I also wanted to comment on it. I think if we will have to retain that amendment, then we can have a proviso that during the particular fiscal year or financial year, when we have this kind of review, that then there is an extra budget given or a provision is made that PSC will have an extra expenditure, and therefore we put it in law that during such an year, then we will have an extra allocation to Parliamentary Service Commission. Otherwise, like my colleague Senator Ososi said, it would be very unfair to have the same allocation but be given a different or an extra expenditure, Madam Speaker. That would be unfair because, of course, we know that we are suffering budgetary constraints at PSC, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we want a very progressive society. We want people to be satisfied with the election that we make with the delimitation of boundaries, Madam Speaker, the names and the extent. And we will be looking forward to such a time that we can be able to review boundaries of counties, Madam Speaker, and even, if possible, then even create more counties. And Senator Karungo Dangwa is here. We would want to see Thika being created as a county separated from Kiambu, because this is a county that is populated by over half of the county are people from Murang'a, but the county government of Kiambu proudly collects revenue from our people without any benefit to our people. And Madam Speaker, finally, we need to defend the protected constituencies. In Murang'a, we have Madhioya constituency and Kang'Ata constituency. We would not want to hear that these constituencies, Madam Speaker, have been collapsed. So even as we do the limitation of boundaries, the constituencies that are protected should remain protected. And if you are doing the limitation everywhere else, we should not touch the protected constituencies, Madam Speaker. Kang'Ata constituency in Murang'a, Madhioya constituency in Murang'a should be protected alongside other constituencies that are protected, and especially because CDF is allocated based on the number of constituencies. So as Murang'a, we would not want to hear of a situation where we lose CDF from one constituency because there has been a collapse of 2 or more constituencies, Madam Speaker. And with that, I submit and I support the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Mandago.